Welcome back. We are going at it again. Lost on the Xenomorph, hoping to find some survivors before the match crashes. And it looks like we're going to be patrolling these tunnels, popping out on another side of the map, going into the main building. This does seem to be a popular vacation spot for our Xenomorph players, as he will not find a survivor around this main building. We will, in fact, find some corrupted generators and some scratch marks. So we are on the trail of the potential first chase, as we do see an ace playing this tile, and he will be able to get the hit as the pallet goes down. Very fun and interactive mind game to play as survivors. Now Ace is going to have to see if he can get some distance away from this tile, as it is not very safe.
That's some nice rhyming as well, actually, there, the chase on the Ace, and we know how quickly these can be. With Ace has got some pace as he leaves the tile, and here comes Adam for the body block, but we know how difficult it can be for Xenomorph, against Xenomorph, I should say. I pick tries to fake out the vault, but it looks like Blast is going for a quick double down. He's got the Adam in his sight, gonna try and take him just before he gets to his pallet, and which he does, the flamethrower there, but not in time. He's gonna come out of running mode, but he won't care because he's picking up a survivor.
I do believe this is some problems team, as we have 2 quick downs. We will get to pick up on the Ace, but we are seeing one of the strengths of the Xenomorph is just how well it can thread the needle. When Adam went for that body block, Vlas able to get just the right angle to secure the down on the survivor anyway, and then continue chasing onto him as well. So now with the basement hook at 5 gens, we've had 2 survivors being in the chase. We've had 1 having to go pick up their teammate. There should not be that much gen pressure. So even with the lack of the pain resonance coming in on that first hook, Vlas is in such a good spot to continue his pressure.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Don't fall into the trap of thinking just because he only got 1 hook, he's not done well. Getting the down onto the other player means another survivor has to get off their gen and come and heal them, which means he's now in prime position to strike the Quentin as they come out of basement. It looks like he wanted the immediate turn out onto iPick, not going to get given it. His hits it onto Lightning instead, but now he's going back for iPick, whose BT will be extinguished. He's going to go straight for the vault. Can he make it? Yes, he can, in the nick of time. Now remember, he's got DS, so if this chase is less than 60 seconds, he'll be able to stun the Xenomorph. Wants to wait it out. The flamethrower coming in, he abuses the vault bug where he can reduce balance, the exploit where he can reduce balance, kind of stagger as he come off if you cancel it into a vault. So nice little bit of tech there from iPick, who's looking to, does he want to hop into a locker suit?
Possibly, but he can probably get some more out of this vault point, as the Xenomorph doesn't really have an option but to play around this, and the tail, I believe, does not really go down, so the Xenomorph has to drop first before able to get that tail attack, as I think will actually run out of DS, so he will at least have it after the second hook, as he pre-drops that, and he will just keep getting distance. But this is buying his team time to try and get some more generator progress, and we are at least also seeing some add-on value where these Xenomorph players, if they have the reaction time for the flamethrowers, are not getting knocked out of their power with the aid of that green add-on, as we'll see if Vlas continues chasing on the iPick here.
Yeah, but yes, okay, they have the green add-on to reduce the staggering, I think it's by 30%, but it takes valuable time, and they've got to whip attacks onto the flamethrower in order to get rid of it. We saw great teamwork as a teammate came in there for iPick. With the flamethrower, we saw them deploy it just as iPick was running there. So great communication from Kolobki, sorry. These words are difficult to pronounce when everything is happening so fast. Xenomorph heading to a short TNL wall against Crystal, who can use the gaps in the walls. Xenomorph can be hard to spot between it. Does he have the distance? No, not quite. He can't get the life off. Resilience not helping him this time. He goes down.
The critical thing that we've been seeing from... Missed on the flashlight save, but the critical thing we've been seeing from survivors in these Xenomorph sets is, are they able to break that bottom side 3-gen that is spawning so often around Shack before the first death comes in? And depending on that answer, that will determine how good a position survivors are in going into the endgame.
Yeah, it seems like the game's gone on for quite a while now. We've only had 2 gens done, so I imagine we've got more on the go. Still only 2 hooks, though, for Vlas, who seems like he's been in chase pretty much the entirety of the game. He's going to apply pop those moves into this gen, protecting the 3-gen you were just mentioning around Shack and creeping back towards the hook. He doesn't want anyone saving his survivor, who he worked so hard for, too early on.
This hook is so unsafe. There's not a lot of resources around it. Anyone trying to go for that pole is going to be in severe trouble if the Xenomorph is anywhere near it. As now another chase onto iPick. I think Lost wants some more, as iPick runs directly into the flamethrower trajectory, which is pretty nicely tucked away behind this barrel, so trying to tail attack the flamethrower is not going to be easy. The question is if Ipic is going to be able to get value out of the flamethrower, but he will actually take the distance away back to the other side of the map. As Lost got a little bit lost, it looks like, as Ipic was able to get more distance than he probably should have, even with the flamethrower coming in, as Ipic has some lockers, and we might go see a head-on play, but not quite enough. Lost, it does have the awareness. That is a very interesting spectator, but nice legs there, as the pull comes on to Ipic out of the locker, and that will be a hook back on the hook that we saw before. And you know, it's a little concerning that we're not seeing any generators pop as Crystal tries to pull a turret, but that store's all out of turrets. As now the pain res hits Nia's gen, and yeah, if that generator is one that's the most progress, that's really unfortunate for the survivors. They really need more generator progress than this, and that's before Pop Goes the Weasel comes in. That's before the eruption comes in. This is going to be a huge slowdown on the survivors' game plan.
Yeah, Vlad has got a good objective to build up on it, and it spent so much time in chase. I'm so surprised we don't have more progress on those generators. I have to say it's a little bit inefficient from our survivor team, but we'll put that in the past. It's just the start of the game. They can work things around because they've been doing so well in chase, so well with their flamethrowers. We saw setting it up for each other as they head into the loops. Ipic had his one set up for him, as we saw, and he got great distance. Unlucky to use the head-on in that previous chase, but now he's looking to make his wrongs right with this bolt over by the pickup truck. Gets away to another pallet, which you pre-drop against the Xenomorph. You have to do a bit of being patient on the bolt straight into the path of the Xenomorph. He takes an early hit, and with being injured on death state, this could be his last moments in this game. Oh, gets the medium bolt, but the whiff attack from Xenomorph means he's still alive. Just for now, DS is still up. He's got a little bit of time left on it. He goes down now. Will Xenomorph be aware that DS is in play? No, they go for the pick straight away. He gets to use it, and he can crucially run towards Shaq again. You don't get a lot of distance this time. It's only a 3-second sun. Can he get enough distance? Oh, he runs towards the flamethrower. A huge play because because our killer is out of runner mode, but it doesn't happen anyway. They go for the pick, and the flashlight isn't in the right direction.
Yeah, unfortunate the flashlight save not coming through. I wonder if they would have been able to save Ipic if Quentin had come and take hits. We will have a generator most likely popping in the distance here, but for the first death to come through, that's not as much progress I'd like to see. Yeah, I mean, they kind of have to if they want to pop it, but now Quentin has to leave his gen. If that gen gets popped and the eruption, this is going to be so difficult for survivors to play out. As the killer instinct coming through, if Lost is going to know, okay, I got one survivor here at a minimum, that comes around to Ace, and maybe Ace will be able to abuse this hill into the vault as well, but he's not going to play it. I wonder if he thinks he just doesn't have the distances. I fully expect the Lost should be able to tag him after his pallet.
Remember, we saw a very similar situation in our Eonix versus Misery game where we had 3 survivors left with 2 generators, all kind of new, and they managed to take a really long chase against the Xenomorph and actually get 2 people out the door. Is that going to happen this time? Because Crystal's already on the hook, and I wonder if there's going to be a pain res. I don't know if that pain res has already been used up. Going in for the body block, doesn't quite get there in time, and Lightning could have saved that one, but now he's got a bolt out of there.
Yeah, Quentin is trying his best to cover for his teammates, but in both these cases, with the flashlight save and with that body block, not quite enough to actually save the teammate. Maybe a little bit of mistiming, miscoordination, we don't know. As Quentin also goes down on that pallet, and now Xenomorph knows that unhook just went through. I can go back there, but as we see 2 gens being worked on that had progress before, this will be a pain resonance on the Quentin. 1 gen will pop, but will it be enough? Should be enough to interrupt Nia's gen, and if there's a pop with the Weasel coming in, we can definitely interrupt this particular generator, but the survivors are looking like they might be able to salvage at least all 4 gens popping in this game, and possibly even get some outs.
Yeah, I think we've got a pretty decent gen spread as well, so Fruit will have to just slowly walk away from this one. They know they've got time to play with, and I wonder if Crystal is being immersed because they've got to stay away now. No, they go straight for the save. They get the trade onto Lightning, and Fruit will go straight back on the gen. That's not going to be a pain res. Crystal going back on the hook. They're going to be eliminated out of the trial, and Lightning has got a bolt.
Yeah, this is the point. This is the point of the game when survivors accept, like, you know what, we might not be getting some outs here. That is a nice spectator bug. I like that one. As Voss going back into the tunnels, looking to see where this last gen's being progressed is. He might be suspecting there's only 1 gen being progressed, and if he finds Nia's gen, if he is able to interrupt that, get the eruption on it, and get the down onto Nia, Quentin will have to really struggle to get anything done here. As Vlas is going towards the right gen, and he sees just how close it is to being done. Nia commits, and they do pop all gens. Depending on the game spawns,
Quentin could get out would be fantastic, but I'm sure they'll still be happy with getting all 5 gens done. Remember, it's our primary win condition, so getting that done does put their killer in a good driving seat. Xenomorph is a strong killer, and now we have Nia heading up with her signature perk balance standing. She's going to bounce away. Now, where is Quentin? Can he get the door done in time? He can. Now, if he leaves at the right moment, Nia can get the hatch here. Out he goes, but Xenomorph knows, he's aware, and he guards the hatch. Is Nia going to sprint in? No. We're going to have a little 1v1 moment. The hatch gets closed in Nia's face, and she's got to make a play. She's got to try and go all the way to the door, but I don't know if it's going to happen. She has hope, an extra 7% speed for the rest of the end game. Going towards Funbus, doesn't quite have the window, but she's taken excellent pathing. She just needs to find some kind of filler pallet to get in the way between her and the Xenomorph, but with Xenomorph out of runner mode, it's a little bit more doable. He goes back
unlucky.
Into it though, and Brutal goes down. Unlucky, a really tall order for our Nia. But with one survivor escaping, that is a big result given that they had 3 survivors for 2 generators to go.
Nia committing to that last gen was so crucial. 3k10 is a pretty good result for how little gen pressure they had for a lot of that game. Survivors really turning up in the end game and bringing the match back.
Yeah, it's because it feels like they always had like a little bit of progress on their generators. We saw at one point with the pain res, there was a gen with like barely any progress that got hit with pain res, and we were both shocked by that. But in the end, the survivors of Kolobki managed to get someone out against the Xenomorph, which is a great position for their killer to have a crack, and that is going to be coming up after a little break. Aeternum secured 10 stages on their killer. Now it's Kolobki's turn to try and match that and do better if they want to win it. But first, Aeternum need to get all 5 generators completed, and with a pretty good gen spread actually, it looks like it's going to be very possible.
Yeah, and I think, definitely bringing that Noed in his back pocket, which we did not see last game, that will go a long way to securing the 4K that he needs. Even if all those gens pop, he's going to be sitting pretty. And there does appear to be a survivor that's kind of quarantined here, but they do have a good window. I'm going to go ahead and break that. Does not want to bother chasing there. And one thing that we're going to have to see, is there going to be a similar Hill RNG into Evolve? That was giving survivors dividends last game, but David going to have to play a TL wall instead. Very unfortunate for him. And we'll have to see what exhaustion does he have, as one thing that was coming in clutch for survivors last game was playing around their exhaustions at the start of the game. And David trying to stealth it out here, not exactly paying off for him, as he does take a quick tag, and he does get a decent amount of distance, and that should be enough to get back into the main building, but there's not another vault around the corner for him, so he's going to need either that flamethrower or a teammate, and I think it's kicked out.
He does get kicked out. He goes to the main building because he's had the communication from his team. There's a flamethrower there, and that's massive. Great team play by Aeternum now, showing us why they're the favourites for this match. And Ipic now slithering out from his tunnel, looking for another survivor to hunt. He's given up on David and moving to the next target, which is Detective Tap. Spits, sorry, I should say. We've got over it and is now looking to blue drop this. No, going to make distance, and with excellent pathing, Duke Ipic.
Yeah, I think was expecting him to run a different location, and that gives Tap so much extra distance, and I believe that's also possibly an exhaustion perk coming in for him. That seems like more distance than you should get just running in that amount of time. But now Tap is able to make some distance around main building, but with the window being not so safe, with these pallets not being dropped, Tap does not have a whole lot to work with. He does have some tall loops, but it looks like Spitz has just accepted his fate. He's going to play this pallet, but he is still kind of zoned to the edge map. He will go down, but he's found a great place to die, and fortunately for Ipic, he will possibly have a Pain Resonance hook coming in that will be able to interrupt the generators from across the map, but that gen doesn't have a whole lot of progress on it, and with one gen popping so early, it's quite possible. Oh, we do have Rocket Gen, does get Pain Res, and there's not a Pop Goes the Weasel going in, I'm pretty sure. So if that is not coming through, then... Oh, there is a pop. Okay, so if I think it's interrupt Rocket Gen, which I think is this one, this will go a long way towards undoing a lot of the pops in that first chase, aside from the first gen that popped, as there's not another gen aside from this one that has much progress.
Yeah, but he's had to leave the hook to go and apply his pop. Goes to Weasel. He loses the pressure immediately from the hook, and he's now got to try and catch the survivors as they rotate back into the map. Or have they decided to heal under the hook? They have! They've healed straight away, and they've got the heal off. So, the big chase from Spitz and from Rocket and the teamwork play around main building with the flamethrower is coming into fruition. The flamethrower gets extinguished outside the wretched shop, and Spitz now heading to Shaq. How is he going to play this one? I'm expecting the pre-jump from Shaq straight away. There it goes. Down it comes, and the Xenomorph is going to have to break that one. Heading now towards the jungle gym. How is he going to play this one out? Is there a flamethrower around to help him?
And crucially, he does still have his DS. There's not a whole lot of time left on it. So if Spitz goes down, like, immediately, he will still have it, and he will have the live. He's going to go ahead and use his live to get some more, to prolong this chase, rather than waiting to use it after the DS. So I guess he's anticipating that he will be able to live long enough to outlast his DS, which does in fact happen. Then, of course, the pull out of the locker. We see the survivors split onto 3 separate gens, so there's no pain resistance coming on Spitz. This is his second hook, so if any of these generators are close, Jake will pop his gen, Rocket will pop his gen, and Dunder doesn't have as much progress, but we will be down to 2 generators very shortly, and Pop Goes the Weasel will not be getting as much value onto Dunder generator.
Yeah, Pop Goes the Weasel doing 25% of the current generator progress, which means it's not going to do a lot of damage to that not very far progressed generator. IPIC now in a rough spot. Remember, he needs 11 stages if he wants to take the victory here for Kolobki. He's really around. Here we go. The Pop Goes the Weasel does get applied, but these survivors have done so well. The gen efficiency has been there. They've maximised the potential they've gotten out of these chases, but they're not going to get a lot out of this one, because this is going to be a very, very quick chase. Pointing is Karma as he falls to the floor. IPIC taking down the former scorn teammate.
There is a pain resonance coming in onto the Jake, most likely. I believe this is a pain resonance hook. But one thing is that we saw when this shit was happening, the survivors have split their gens. We have 2 generators around Shaq. We have 2 generators around main building. So even with the mobility of the Xenomorph, the survivors will have the ability with the flamethrowers to know when he's coming and get some distance away from it. And it's going to be very difficult for IPIC to control the remaining generators he has. Even if he's getting some Pop Goes the Weasels coming in, the survivors can get enough distance away from the gens that where they die is just going to be so difficult for IPIC to play around. Spitz should be a target of a ton of people, but he does have that DS, he does have the live, so, you know, they should be able to get enough time out of Spitz's death here to get, you know, 1, maybe even 2 more gens pop, as this will be the down on Spitz.
That was a deliberate down. I'm sure he's going to be playing for DS, and he isn't down. You saw him hesitate just before that pallet. He deliberately did it. Is he going to go for the pallets on as well? I think he is. No! Oh, but Xenomorph backs out in time. Oh, and he goes down as he tries to green it next to the pallet. I think there's someone waiting there for a silent save. In comes David, but is he there in time? He gets the beamer, but he didn't have Sprint Bust. He can't save Spritz. So the DS doesn't prevail for that long. He got about 5 seconds extra of it. Used the pallet as well. He goes onto the hook. A little blunder, but it feels like the Xenomorph has been fighting an uphill battle after the great team play at the start of the game. IPIC now with a little bit of a gift for the survivors, a way back into this game to try and secure the 11 stages he needs for the victory.
The idea is there, but the execution is just a little bit too elusive, as that will cost Spitz his life, and we'll have to see if the remaining 3 survivors are able to pound out the last generators. This chase right here is in a fantastic spot, away from all generators, so we should most likely be seeing another gen pop on the top side in the relatively near future, as AHL2023 does have his battles on his hill, and I did not know the Xenomorph tail attack can go uphill, and Dunder fortunately does have a tall loop at this pallet, but he says, you know what, I'm going to preload that pallet. I don't think the killer is expecting that, as it does give him some distance, but this will be a down onto him with the tail attack if it's just wound up, but it's not being wound up, so Dunder is juicing here, and that will be the M1 hit onto him. There is a pain resonance on Dunder, and I believe also a renewal off of Hook, but we'll have to see. That's decent progress. Pop, or the pain res will interrupt that, but pain res can only interrupt one of these.
Yeah, only one of the gens. I thought the gens might be a little bit further, but no, they're still about 80% each, so pain res definitely going to be a factor. We know for a fact this is a pain res hook. On it goes. He also has Pop Goes the Weasel to a play, and know it as well, so the win condition still isn't out the window. IPIC can definitely come back into this. Here we go. IPIC now going back into runner mode, crawling through the wretched shop, trying to find a survivor off guard. He's not spotting anyone just yet, looking for someone to make the first move towards the hook.
And you can just feel how quiet this map is right now. We're at a point in the game, one survivor's already dead, a lot of the resources have been dropped down, and the Xenomorph's chase power being as oppressive it is, makes it extremely difficult. If any of these survivors are caught out, they are in massive trouble.
Wow.
We do see one generator popping in the distance, but you know, it's entirely possible they will accept that Dunder might die on hook and just go for one gate, as I think needs to find another survivor and get a chase, because you want to be able to get that last down with a no-ed. It's entirely possible he can still try to go for a double down in the end game, but depending on how the gates spawn, this could be a very risky proposition to try and camp this out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in the next kind of 20 seconds, but I can tell you one thing for certain. That first chase, when no one is in play, once the gens get done, is going to be absolutely essential. The survivors need to get it spot on if Aeternum wants to take this first set. Here is David. He's been spotted by Eric, and he's going to get double tapped. Go straight down, but Thunder comes off the hook with renewal. That's no need to reset him. I'm not sure it's going to matter because no one's in play. How far progressed are these generators? We saw Karma taking a while to go in for Thunder. iPick gets saved. How are they doing? Ooh, only about 30% on that generator. And is this going to be another painless hook?
Most likely it will begin. Keep in mind, the win condition is, I believe, at least 2 stages out. One, actually, possibly more than that. So, with Dunder being on his second hook, Dunder escaping and Dunder alone escaping is no longer a win. So the other survivors do have to be very careful. One of them has to be the ones to escape, as
yes,
with the double tap coming onto Rocket, this win condition being met is getting closer and closer to requiring 2 outs for the hook stages.
They basically have to save Rocket here because that, like, Xenomorph, iPick is never going to go for Dunder in this situation. He knows, yeah, he's never going to go for Dunder in that situation because if he can get another survivor, it's absolutely fine for him. Hop goes onto that gens, and the gen progress seems to have halted just slightly, but all our survivors are injured. There's no insta-down on them yet. This is still a pretty good situation. We've seen the Xenomorph actually struggle today in defending his generators and getting lots of stages off these survivors. So this is all far from over. I think it's very tough to come back into this game, even though the flamethrowers will be being set up around these gens, and I think the survivors are just going to have another crack.
And Rocket with a strong comp drone, that is definitely a 1v1 tactic if I've ever seen one. I think, you know what? I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to check on my other gens. I do not care about chasing Rocket right now. Possibly a very good choice. We do have another generator over here, and I believe another one in the main building, which we've seen is not progress. So survivors have made it clear they want to progress this gen, and they want to progress the one by the other gate. They do not care about the main building gen. That is a much less safe one. Now, I think is patrolling for survivors that might be stealthing around the edge of the map. Not seeing signs of one yet. I guess he's concerned about the locker as well. He suspects and he knows Karma is around here. He just cannot find exactly where he is. Karma stealthing around with the urban evasion, getting value, but he is spotted here, and he does have smash hit. Can he get a smash hit done on the pallet? But he will not, and this is not the safe side of the tile.
Yeah, this is really tough now. He's got to win this 50-50, and he doesn't. He doesn't go for the pallet drop. Great match for the Xenomorph, who pounced on him. The second spotted Karma crawling around with urban evasion. But I wonder, how far ticked is that gen Ace is working on? There's no pain resonance anymore. Is he going to commit to it? Because remember, if Ace goes down, that's fine, as long as Rocket goes out. But Xenomorph heads straight in the opposite direction, doesn't pressure the gen. Ace was on just next to him, which is on 80%. I think he's going to pop this, then go for the save.
I mean, Rocket getting out would be a tie. If only Rocket goes out, it's a tie. It needs to be Rocket and one other survivor. There can be no other option for them.
He needs more than 10 stages, the killer, to get a win condition. So letting just once, letting survival with 2 stages go is going to be a tie. Letting survival with 1 stage go is going to be a win for him. This is getting very, very close.
And it looks like their gate spawns are pretty close to each other too. That makes the Noah that much more scary. Yeah, we see a gate spawn over there at about 4 o'clock and one at 6. So
big miss.
Survivors have to get some. Now, if this gen is the one that pops, which it looks like it is, that is when the survivors have an option to go for these gates, because he cannot go for the survivor that popped that gen. He has to be looking for survivors that are sitting at the gates. He knows the survivors could already be stationed at these generators, knowing that gen's going to pop. We can start working on that gate ASAP, as they do have to be careful. They cannot afford to give 2 downs, as Dunder is most likely not long for this world. He might be able to buy enough time for the other gate to be opened, but depends on. No, Jake wasn't.
Rocket has to get out. If Rocket can get out, that is
One more
massive
thing.
because they're one more survivor and then they're going to win it. Rocket
Yeah,
is
right.
out of here. Xenomorph has targeted the wrong survivor. Is the Jake there? Yes, Jake
They're
is
up.
there as well. That's going to be the win for Aeternum. Enough survivors get out. 3 stages get out the door, which means it can only be a 3k9 for iPick. The info on our screen is saying otherwise, but I don't think that's correct. I think that's a 3k9, and if I'm right, Aeternum have won that.
Yeah, I believe so. That is just short of the win. Very close set. We're seeing both sides, you know, playing the Xenomorph set pretty well. The killer having some good shots, the survivors getting some good chases, some good awareness, but in the end, Aeternum plays it just a little bit better.
iPick lost a lot of pressure there on that final hook stage. He had he had Karma on the hook, he was at the end of his second stage. They came off the hook and he got no damage for it, didn't get hit onto anyone. The David was able to go back onto that gen, complete it, and then iPick didn't go for David. He went for another survivor instead, maybe trying to greed the entire win instead of getting that tie, and loses it there and then. So it is Aeternum taking the first set. We are going to be back with Singularity. It's Kolobki this time starting out on Killer. How is it going to go down? We'll have to find out after a short break.
Hold on to your cowboy hats. We are taking a step back from the Autohaven Wreckers, and we are on Dead Dog Saloon, bringing our sci-fi killer, the Singularity, once again setting up some cameras to get an eye on what the survivors might be doing. We're going to spread our cameras all over the map as we are not seeing a survivor right away, but maybe we will be on those cameras. Isn't that right?
Yeah, setting up your cameras is super important early on. I mean, we saw a little bit from our earlier games that one of our killers set up cameras early on, and while it didn't seem like they had the best early game, it really came into fruition later on in the set. Whereas our other killer, who was super aggro, struggled in the end game. So always remember, guys, it's super important to set up your Singularity cameras at the start of the game. If you want to take anything away from today, that will be one of those things. Also, that pallet by that little truck, abandoned truck, is not guaranteed. And you can be a bit unlucky with that, as iPick's unlucky with their shots.
Yeah, and one thing we're seeing here is that, as we can remember, if you're shooting from a camera, you can get through some of those gaps, but if you're shooting the biopod manually, you will not, and that's why Jake was able to avoid getting slipstreamed again. And it looks like he might have gotten EMP'd by a teammate, actually, as now we have a pallet stun coming on, but Dunder should be able to make the water tower pallet as well. And the question now is going to be, how long will these pallets be able to prolong this chase? What kind of generator progress will we get done? Is Dunder does have a pretty good pallet chaser. He might get tagged for that, but he does try to greet it, and he does get tagged here, as he will run over to the main building. But Singularity looks like he was checking his cameras real quick, possibly trying to teleport to Dunder from those, possibly trying to tag someone else. But the survivor's able to get the reset onto Jake, and this is, you know, all things considered, a pretty good early game start for the survivors.
Yeah, it's quite nice. They've got the heal on, they've got the EMPs going, and all of this, they're just getting a few bits of generators done. So as long as no one's getting shot on the hook and you're getting the generators progress, everything is going well. If you're a survivor, can't say the same for iPick though. He does find his second hit, and he is getting some pallets out of the way. A third hit actually, as he finds another tag onto Karma, roundabout Shack, and now a lot of damage. With Sloppy Butcher, remember, this is pretty big for iPick. This pallet is gone. It's all coming around for iPick. Karma fakes the window, gets the dodge around, and now Singularity trying to win this 1v1 at the little shed. Can he win it? Karma, great pathing and stalling this one out way longer than he should be allowed to, and eventually things go down inside the great little stall for Karma. 2 hits onto other survivors. iPick with actually a little bit of a comeback, but he's lost the generator for it.
Good patience on Karma. It buys him just enough time to get that gem popped before the pain resonance hook comes in. And that's not a whole lot of generator progress for the survivors, but they are playing it, you know, really patiently, really slowly. And iPick's struggling to get that first down in the early game, you know, so it kind of evens out. But we're seeing on the cameras, not quite able to find someone. We do have eyes on a survivor behind that rock, but not quite able to get the slipstream onto them, as we have 2 healthy survivors and also Renato. And we see iPick basically checking the cams periodically, getting tabs on that survivor, and then also getting a little bit closer to him, but not fully committing, trying to see, can I get a slipstream tag while also holding this hook?
Yeah, he's kind of using it to just keep the survivor at bay, keep them not like getting on anything, and also protecting the hook. It doesn't quite get the tackle for that. He's getting so unlucky with these tags. But I want to reiterate, if you don't realize how important it is to last those few extra seconds. I mean, that gen got popped just before the pain res came in, which meant like, you know, you get the whole generator done because Karma lasted a little bit longer in chase, and he's going to have to last some time now as he gets slipstream straight away. iPick is going to go for the long range slope. No, backs out of it, doesn't want to waste a little pod. I think he's going to get the pick onto here for his second painless of the game.
Yep. I think taking the opportunity to get 2 extra slipstreams on the survivors, and you know, this is basement hook, yeah, so there will not be a pain resistance coming out on this. I think might go for the camp out on this survivor, as that's the only reason I can think of to try and go for a basement hook here over another pain res, unless he just thinks the survivors were not touching gens that entire time. As you know, with one EMP going off, that's both disabling that camera at the main building and also cleansing, I believe, Dunder of his, or no, Karma of his slipstream. Now iPick gonna see what the other survivors are doing, and he does have good camera vision of everything, and it looks like there's not a whole lot of generator progress coming in, aside from 2 that already popped.
Yeah, not a lot happening on the map at the moment. I think iPick is pretty happy just to chill. He's going to come down here because he suspects someone's down here. No, just making sure that Spitz isn't jumping off the hook, which he's not. You're not allowed to do in competitive Dead by Daylight. This camera's been disabled actually, so it's going to have to appear soon. And yeah, I'm struggling to work out the game plan here for iPick.
And so one thing I want to point out. In the previous Singularity games, we were seeing that there was a camera pointed at the main building generator from across the street, and I don't believe that iPick has one of those set up. And depending on if that generator is already popped, which I'm not sure, but it looks like iPick can, you know, that generator's not popped, so iPick doesn't have good vision on that generator unless the one's right above it. But the camera that's right above the main building generator should not be safe from the EMPs if the survivors have them when they're working on it. And chasing Renato at least.
Oh yeah, I think we're starting to see the plan from iPick. He's happy to just camp the hooks, which he has very secure with his cameras, getting the biopods onto them. But it feels like the survivors have been able to get decent progress onto their gens. And I wouldn't be surprised if we heard this coming now. No, they're not going to go for it. They're leaving Spitz down there. That gen up top is still regressing though. The eruption's coming in, and this is a masterful game being played from iPick now. He's set up the cameras everywhere. He's put the biopods onto survivors as they go in for the save now at the last possible second for Spitz. Here we go. How's it going to play out? He gets the initial whiff, which is pretty big. Gets extra time done to send him further into the basement, and that's a long way out. He uses the camera to quickly get away from there, and an immediate down onto Oscar. The eruptions go off all the way across the map, and this is a very, very long game being played out from iPick, and I think he's done a fantastic job of it.
iPick with the presence of mind to keep track of where all of these survivors are at all times, getting full value out of the cameras, getting that pain res off. But Oscar was kind of caught out of position now, as yes, he does not get the full death onto Spitz, but he's able to get a pain res, able to get another fresh hook. And there's so much pressure now on the survivors with 2 injuries and a slipstream onto Karma, including the fact that Spitz now has to be very careful. Before he's reset, he is on death hook. He needs to not be found at all costs.
Man, that's going to be difficult the way iPick is playing this one out. He's setting his cameras up all the way across the map, as we see there, right in the corner. He's happy to camp the hooks and just play it very, very slow. We're in for a long one here, folks. Light over the top of the wall. Karma being spotted, and that is our killer into overclock mode. He's got the add-ons for it. He's got the haste. He's got the extra duration, and he's going to use that to find his first hit onto Karma. Now, will he follow this up? If it's anything like the rest of the game we've been seeing, that is not going to happen. He's going to go back towards the hook, camp it out a little bit more, and make sure he's getting his biopods onto his survivors. In comes Ace with the EMP, but he's not going to be able to use it. He's going for a quick trade down, and that is Oscar coming off the hook and running away towards him. He's trying to get a biopod on him, but that one's disabled. He can't quite get it, and it's just going to be the hook onto Ace.
Yeah, we were seeing 3 of the survivors, everyone except for Oscar, had EMPs in hand, and you know, I think definitely showing them why they need those EMPs. It's so difficult to track where he's going to be at any given time, given how much he's splitting pressure, using his camera to teleport around the map. You know, on one moment you think, oh, he's camping this hook, oh, he's camping that hook. No, he's actually teleporting to the looking at the generator injured without an EMP, and you know, it really is keeping them on their toes, as now I believe that should be all survivors have been hooked at least once, I think. With with Spitz being the remaining pain res, because he was basement in a second.
Yeah, no,
And
you're
Spitz goes,
absolutely right.
but he has to be careful now because if the chase goes on to Spitz instead, he is one hook away from death. All the other survivors have an extra hook, and that is a very interesting spectator bug on Singularity. Definitely a power
Giving
lock
us a little
for
wave.
survivors.
Hello, Singularity did a little glide across the map, waving around to all the survivors, saying, hello, yes, I am still here, I am still around that hook. But no, I wouldn't be too concerned about the death of my survivors at this point. I just want to get some gens done because IPIC has kept this game at 3 generators for a very long time now, which is very, very impressive. He has been everywhere all at once as the Singularity, and now he's on the back of Ace. Thunder has to drop this straight away, but the overclocked add-ons, the haste is gonna work out for him. He gets the down onto Thunder, and now, before he picks, you'll notice he's always checking his cameras. He's always trying to apply a pressure all the way across the map. This is masterful from IPIC.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this just is an incredible performance on the Singularity. You know, the survivors have started to really take their time. We're seeing they're prioritizing, you know, making sure they're healed. They do not want to be caught out of position again, as that can really cause this game to snowball. With now a second survivor who's going to be on death hook once Ace to the hook, which happens now, and that the game becomes even more precarious. Yes, the survivors are not having a death yet, but they're getting very close to it, and there's not as much generator progress as they would like to see. Although, yes, we have our health states being picked up. Yes, we're not slipstreamed, and Spitz is going to have to make it to main building, but it looks like IPIC might have dropped Chase. That's exactly what Spitz needs, as another gen pops in distance.
Yeah, they can't keep this up forever, and I'm glad to see they finally got a gen done, because they were really getting hampered by IPIC, who just had a whole control over the game, but finally they seem to have cracked the code a little bit better in Chase, and managing to escape unharmed. Well, unharmed completely. They're still a little bit injured as the claw gets sent into their back, and a great little camera angle from IPIC gets another tag. But because they take so long to recharge the AMPs, and those orbs shouldn't stay on them for too long, we're going to head back to camera.
Yeah, IPIC setting up the camera to tag the Renato as he ran around his escape route, and now the second tag from Renato. This will be a hit. This will be a good chase, and we're also seeing this Gallows gen has not been popped yet, and they keep EMPing the camera that he has above it, so not able to get teleports to the Gallows gen survivors at least. As now he's switched pressure to Karma, and this will be a tag on the Karma, and now with all 4 survivors injured, and 2 of them slipstream, and 2 of them also on death, like IPIC knows there are multiple valid targets here, and the survivors are not going to be sure which one of them he's actually going to go for. They're going to have to start looking for some EMPs. They're going to have to start looking for some heals, as IPIC can snowball this out of control if they don't. Dunder healed in the distance, and that means he's with another teammate almost certainly, and IPIC might be able to find them hero resetting.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to resist when you have so many generators so far progressed, but you have to go for the reset, which is what they have done. Unfortunately for them, IPIC has found a little spot, but now as he's in chase, it means they can get back onto the generators. In comes the EMP, another heal being applied to Dunder, and Spitz, the one on death hook, has been found, and he's had an orb onto him. Overclocked slipstream comes to Singularity, but he gets the vault just in time.
No, but and IPIC leading the chase on Spitz, deciding, you know what, it's not worth the chase here. I'm going to find a survivor's caught out somewhere else. Maybe he's looking for Karma, maybe he's looking for Oscar, but crucially, the survivors that are most vulnerable, the survivors that are on death hook, are the ones that are being kept alive. As, oh, the slipstream spreads. That's not a camera. Okay, good. So now we do have Renato looking for something off in the middle of nowhere. I'm not sure. Maybe he's looking to reset Jake? No. I'm not sure what Renato's going for here. Maybe the generator in the background. Maybe he's looking for an angle onto the Gallows gen. But now the chase on Renato, and the power's coming through. There will be a brutal strength break onto that, as Renato does not have anywhere good to go. There's never anything back here. As maybe he's dodging slipstream teleport, but you know, I don't think this log and this rock is going to keep him alive for very long. There's no pallet over here. This is going to be a tag on Renato, guaranteed. He does have a little bit of pallet back here. Does seem to lose an opportunity. He does have smash hit, but you know, maybe the smash is not what you're going to want to go for when the Singularity is in that overclock mode, as he's going to come in now. Oscar gets the vault. Does actually get the vault. Not even needing Resi. Easy. Does roll around, and he's looking to see the Singularity come on the corner. The down will come almost certainly here with this hit through the window. Yeah, not quite enough distance. Possibly Bloodlust on the Singularity, and it's going down to Oscar, but he is only on first hook. This is not one of the death hook survivors, and we have Spitz helping around. Spitz better not be found here, because that will be Problem's team as the hook comes in onto Oscar.
Yeah, it'll be a massive run if the Spitz get found there. not what they wanted when they've been so patient throughout this long game against multiple eruptions. We've had pain resistance, we had corrupt at the start, long camera placements, resets with the heals against Sloppy Butcher, EMPs, everything is just longing this game out as long as possible. But the survivors have been patient, they have been plowing on through, the right survivors have been hooked at the right times, and there goes the Gallows gem.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, that's the final one.
And there's no way. Crucially, there's no endgame perks, and there is not a dead survivor. And this is such a good position to be in for survivors. The snowball here is just not really going to be possible. You just don't have the time efficiency as what is ultimately an M1 killer to chew through enough health states. So the survivors should be getting at least 3 outs here because the chase is not happening onto Ace.
Unfortunately for iPick, he's only 1 health state on them, so when he does get this down, it's just going to be 1 extra health hook stage, leaving us a 7 hook stage game. Yes, every fresh hook, but only 7 hook stages, not the best result in the world. I mean, this is what we're assuming is going to happen because that other door should be opened right now as Renata heads into the top corner, goes down there. iPick going to turn around, look for something desperately, but it would seem that all our other survivors should be out of the door.
Yeah, and we were saying iPick was playing that mid-game very well from a strategic perspective, very well from a pressure perspective, but unfortunately just not quite able to win the numbers game against the survivors, not able to get their health plates, not able to secure an actual death until the very end, and that's unfortunately for him enough for the survivors to secure all of those gens, to secure 3 outs, and you know, with what appears to be a 1K9? 1K8.
1K8.
I can't count. I cannot count.
Neither can I. I said 7 stages before. It's 8 stages. We both are in the middle. But yeah, it felt like iPick was almost kind of like chump checking this survivor team, saying Aeternum, can you like withstand my 3-gen hold? Yes, they definitely can. A definitive answer as 3 survivors escape the trial. But that is enough of that game. We're going to head to a quick break and we'll be back with Aeternum's turn on Singularity. Can they do better than what iPick put up? Here we go, gamers. We're back with Singularity on Dead Dog Saloon. And I wonder if we're going to get the same kind of game because we've got the same similar sort of build from Obi. And he's setting up his camera straight away. Something we've been stressing is super important on Singularity. And to reiterate the win conditions from that long game we just had, if Obi is able to get 9 stages or more, he will win the tournament, and they're going to knock Kolobki out of the tournament 2-0. But that is to come later in the trial. For now, we've got Ace in a chase, and he's running away.
Yeah, and keep in mind, in these first chases, we're seeing a divergence in the add-on choice from Obi. This green add-on that he has makes it so that as soon as a survivor is slipstreamed, they are exhausted for 6 seconds. So when he gets a tag on a survivor, they're not getting their sprint burst, they're not getting their lives, they're not getting their balanced landing, and that is not going to be a good chase for Ace as he goes down very quickly. Going to be a hook in the middle of the map as well. Actually, no, looking for a better hook, most likely trying to get that pain resonance value out of Ace. And we're gonna see, you know, if Obi is able to get some tags on survivors, let's say working on these buildings, working on main building, working on Gallows, if he gets a flipping tag onto them, they're not gonna be able to balance landing away.
Yeah, the tags, it's an interesting idea to put on this add-on. I think learning stuff from the previous game we saw, because I've been holding those really well, but the survivors were like not getting caught off guard a little bit. So maybe instead of the duration paddle, the exhaustion paddle can provide a little bit of change. Maybe that was what iPick needed if he wanted a few more stages on him. But first, these survivors are going to complete all 5 generators as it was set from the Aeternum survivors. That is our primary condition. They've got to get the first 5 generators done first. And Ace almost getting caught out twice. Yes, the camera is locked on and the slipstream comes through. Overclock mode coming in and gets the hit straight away through the window. Ace goes down. His face hits the floor of the saloon and he's going to go straight back up onto the hook.
And this is what we want to see from, you know, from our killer players. We want to see, get that early down. Yes, you can split pressure as much as you want, but splitting pressure doesn't do you too much good until you already have 1 survivor down, as Crystal is most likely not going to be long for this world, not able to get those chases to last, not able to get to safety, and you know, being on Deathlock at 5 gens is very unfortunate, as Nia will almost certainly get this Gallows gen done. That is a nice consolation prize. Quentin getting very reasonably close on the water tower gen as well, but you know, Obi also quite possibly has some good generators spread around this hook that he can just guard and protect his gens. Actually, maybe not. And also doesn't have as many cameras as you'd expect, but what he makes up for the cameras, he's got hook states.
Yeah, he's got hook states and he's going to get damaged straight away back onto this hook. But you're right, the camera situation isn't quite there. And if anything I've learned from watching a few Singularity sets over the past few weeks is that camera placement is superior to anything else that is happening on the screen. But saying that, Crystal is in a very precarious position. If he gets slipstream, that pallet is going to go straight away. I wouldn't be surprised if Singularity is going to camp the pallet. No, forces Ace onto the short side of it. Now he's going to make the long way round. Is he going to take the vault? No, goes straight for the pallet. Hesitated a little bit before he vaults over and goes down. Quentin is here to try and provide something. Is it for the people? Yes, it is. But he gets farmed straight away. Quentin took a while to tap that. Lightning goes down straight away. And Quentin with a huge blunder. They're both on the floor.
Yeah, and very unfortunate for Quentin. This will possibly even be another camera from him. It's a pain on Quentin, just casually along the way, right before the death comes in onto Crystal, and that is going to be problem seen, as now with the 3v1 and a survivor on the hook, and only one generator to show for it.
I mean, that was a massive blunder. Quentin was like, do I really want to heal my teammate? Do I really want to heal my teammate? And by the time he did, Singularity was there to strike, and Crystal gets eliminated straight away. A huge mistake from Quentin. Lightning has not lived up to his name, and it is Thunder in the camp of Kolobki. Aeternum with the grip in this game.
Yeah, and you know, only one other gen coming in, it's just not enough. You know, you need at least 3 gens popping for that death, and you know, yes, the unhook comes on to Quentin, but now Obi's in such a good position to spread pressure as much as he wants, get these survivors injured. You know, they are suffering from a lack of good healing perks, and one fewer body on the map makes it that much harder to reset. As long as, you know, okay, I got 2 people resetting, but now what's that last one doing? Is the last person in chase? Are they doing a gen? There's just not enough bodies to do everything that you need to do in this game, and as the chasing the eye pick, the down from the eye pick, and that could be a basement hook.
Yeah, it really could. This is dangerous. Do we have the pallet save? It's something that could give Kolobki a hope as their tournament seems to be drawing to a close. Nia is there spotted. Big information for our killer. And this is just very, very dire situations now. We've got Eruption, we have Pain Rings, we have Sloppy. Everything to slow down the game. And when you are one survivor short, that is huge.
Yeah, and Neil learning the hard way. This is not a good patch to be playing a female survivor. You might have made that vault otherwise, as she gets tagged on the medium, and Obi checking his cameras does not need to worry about getting to a chase too much, just making sure that nobody is working on these generators. He's able to actually spread his hooks around, and they just don't have the time.
Yeah,
Nia makes it ult, I think, but
God, no!
That's also the bug.
Yeah, it's the bug because it applies the vertical drops as well. Your hitbox is still lingering up there. Don't be deceived by you're falling down afterwards. Your hitbox is still there. Nia goes down very, very quickly. 2 just M1 hits in quick succession, and Obi seems like he's going to be carrying Aeternum to a victory after, I must say, a fantastic performance on their survivor side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a gen being done the distance here, but it's only at a quarter progress. Quentin stealthing for the save, and you know, unless Quentin's worried about being caught out, I don't think he can really afford to fast pull Nia right here. They need to be getting generator progress for the time that she's on hook, but also iPick being injured and working on the gen, he's in a very precarious situation if he gets caught out. The survivors just don't have the time to go for the gens and go for the unhooks and get the survivors healed, and the chases they're having are not nearly long enough to get any of this accomplished.
Yeah, it's very difficult now because sometimes in this situation, when it looks bad, you can be like, okay, if we can take one really good chase, we can maybe bring it back. But that's not the way Obi is going to play this. He's going to be like, I'm not committing to any long chases. Anytime it gets too long, he's going to back out, go to his cameras, spot these survivors, get the pods on, and just keep the game all in control. Can he get the teleport? No, he can't quite. Switches to another camera, and that one gets EMP'd.
Yeah, and this is the part of the game where it is slowing down a little bit now that Obi's in a commanding position in the game. The survivors have to play this flawlessly. They will get another generator done, as Obi is looking to secure, I believe, 3 more hook stages. That's all he needs. And with 2 survivors injured, finding anyone but Quentin, and he does find the Nia.
No. That's a huge mistake. Nia's in. There's no way she gets away from this. She'd have to get super lucky with the vault. There's the vault in, but she has no exhaustion perk to help her out. I think it's only landing on her near, and down she goes. And with that, it could be Kolobki coming out of this tournament, because here comes the tag onto Quentin, dodging back and forth between the rock. The notice from OB, he is feeling comfortable. He knows he's on the cusp of victory.
Significantly, he sees both survivors working on the gen with the aura reading on Eruption. He also sees iPick running off into the area behind Gallows, so he knows not only that both survivors are working on that gen, he knows I don't have to worry about these other generators, I only have to worry about that generator, and I know where Adam is going to go to not get caught out. He can choose his target. He will choose a tag on Quentin here with the slipstream, and now he's going to be looking for Adam, but I think Adam should be a little bit further away from that camera.
We don't have Five Nights at Freddy's going on here. He's just checking the security cameras to see where the survivors are moving to. Doesn't want them to get too close to his hook. Now he's going to be making his way across the map, and he doesn't want Quentin to have too long on this, because Quentin has EMP'd his camera over there. So if he lost too long, that could be a final gen popping, and it's not over till it's over, folks. OB still has the potential to throw this, so he's got to play this one out well. Sees the crow going off. That means the save comes in, and it does. iPick with the save. Brutal now on Death Hook, and this chase is going to be perfect.
And OB realizing, you know what, the place that Adam ran to is much less safe. This is a good pallet. He might have to break this, but he will instead. Oh, Adam's got an EMP, so the slipstream tag is not going to pay off here. Now Adam also gets to make it to the main building, just as Nia did earlier, and this might not be the time to play for the chase. This might be the time to go and check on Quentin's generator instead. Chasing in main could be a mistake. As a general,
done.
We need 2 more hooks.
Hold on a minute. I mean, this could be one of the biggest throws we've seen. I mean, Obi had such a commanding lead over this game, but the survivors, inch by inch, step by step, have clawed this one back just a little bit. 1 generator remaining, but this is where it gets really tricky, folks. You've got Sloppy Butcher on 2 of these survivors, some of them on Death Hook. He needs just 2 more gens, and Nia's going to be going down. Balance landing's going to be there, but I don't know if she's going to get it in time. No, she doesn't even have balance landing. She goes down straight away. She's out of the game. It is now a 1v2, and if any of these survivors go down, that is it.
Yeah, this is I believe, is this a death on Nia?
Yes, definitely.
Oh yeah, death on Nia. Okay, well, yep. Next person found is just dead. Obi can just camp them on hook and force a 1-for-1, and that's a guaranteed win, as there's now attack on the iPick. He does have an EMP, able to cleanse himself with the slipstream, able to clear out the area around him, as Quentin also has an EMP, but I do believe they do not have any generator progress on the last 3. So I don't know how you're going to be able to get a full gen done without getting spotted, especially with all these cameras around.
It's going to be super tricky. Not against Singularity. No way. You're going to have to hope Obi gets greedy for a chase, gets a little bit lost and looking around. But with that camera on the opposite side, what you were talking about earlier, it's so powerful. Quentin's going to try and force him over, but he's going to get hit for it. He doesn't have the distance enough for it. Maybe he's trying to look to block it with the EMP, gets tagged for it, and now it's onto our Adam. He's going to last long enough. Oh, I thought he was going to get hit through the window. No, light away, gets the fast bolt. Beautiful movement from our Quentin, but now he's been tagged from this other one. Oh, he had the EMP, which got rid of it.
Yeah, but Quentin really has nowhere to go. He can keep running the loops on main, but there's no pallets around. He only has the vaults, and the slipstream teleport coming in handy, as this should be a down to Quentin, and that should be a guaranteed win for Obi, as Obi said, you know what, I can greed for more. Willing to tag onto iPick. I got the Eruption onto him, with the Eruption aura reading, and I think Obi's going to go for the 4K.
Yeah, there's really no need, to be honest. I mean, once he gets the hook on Quentin, that's it, because that's 9 stages. That's more. He's met the win condition, even if the last generator gets popped sprint buzz from Adam. But I think he's just treating us to one last chase, as we are going to wrap it up for today, Aeternum, with what is looking like a 2-0 against Kolobki.
Oh, for sure. It would take Obi basically going AFK for this to come back for Kolobki. I mean, that's asking for a little bit too much. Well, Adam makes a really good play there. Actually, well, I spoke too soon. He should make this vault, though, and, you know, iPick playing to his limits quite well. Yes, the slipstream is coming in, and we are going to have a break on that door, and iPick, I believe, does have a pallet here still. It's a decent pallet, but he will get tagged through it. That will be the 4th man down, and as the hook will come in onto iPick, that is a guaranteed win, even if he is not able to find Lightning LS falling around on the ground.
Yeah, that is it with Obi takes 2-0 for Aeternum. And while we just kind of play out this endgame, getting all our survivors on hooks, making sure they are well and truly sacrificed the needs entirely for Mr. Entity, we can talk about the games we've got coming up next week, because Aeternum are progressing through the losers round 4, and they will be facing off against Tremor to try and get a spot in the losers semi-final. On the other side of that, they've got Calamity versus Onyx. That's who the winner of that set is going to be playing. The winner of Tremor versus Aeternum will be playing the winner of Calamity versus Onyx in the losers semi-final. We've also got Eternal versus Elysium in the winners final.